Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Cocktail Classified. I am here with my friend Jackie today.
Hello.
Welcome, Jackie. How are you?
I'm well. I'm very happy to be here with you today.
Awesome. Cool. So I know who you are, but for our listeners, who are you?
Well, my name is Jacki Schromm, and I am the co-owner of Donna's here in Houston, Texas.
Awesome. And how long have you been in Houston?
Oh, I'm not the best at math this early in the morning, but I moved here in the summer of 2019.
Okay.
So I think that's like 7 years, but I feel like I've been saying 7 years for the last 7 years. So
Yeah. No, I think it's been about 7 years too, because we started NTS in 2019. So it's been at that same time.
Yeah. But yeah, Houston's been wonderful to me. I'm very, very happy that we got to move here.
Yeah, for sure. And you are one of the partners here at Donna's, correct?
I am.
Yeah.
I am. It is myself and then my business partner, Bobby Hugel.
Awesome. Cool. Well, I know you, we've been trying to get you on the podcast for a minute. I know you just opened, so we had to wait a little bit, but how's opening been?
It has been incredible. So we opened the week of Thanksgiving, and the outpouring amount of love and support from the Houston community has just been over the moon. I don't think in my wildest dreams could I have imagined that we would open this tiny little bar and just be busy every day since opening. And I am just beyond grateful for it.
Yeah, for sure. You're definitely crushing it. Every time I come in, like it's always full here.
Yeah. I mean, it's a small space. We have room for about 80 people. So it doesn't take a lot to build up the energy and have the room be full.
Yeah.
But when it is, man, is the energy wonderful.
Yeah, for sure. And this is a good space too for where you guys are at here in the Heights. I guess where are we? Washington Heights. What would you consider this area?
I will say that is one thing about Houston that I fully haven't got a grasp on is all the tiny neighborhoods and little names for all the different sectors. So sure, we can call it Washington Heights.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're in the Heights in Houston.
Yeah, we're just in the Heights.
There you go. Cool. So you've worked in a lot of different industry, within the industry a lot. You started in Florida, love the industry. What has it been your favorite subsector or restaurant? Is it restaurants, bars, counter service? Which one has been your? I
think that's one of the hardest questions ever. I mean, I feel like I have to say being a bar owner is obviously my favorite. Yeah. It's definitely the most rewarding. But I definitely look back and romanticize the days where I worked in a sports bar and just ripped open 20 Bud Lights at a time and was just pouring vodka sodas. You know, that was just kind of a magical point in my early 20s that just felt really fun. But I mean, I love this industry so much, you know, I don't think that there's any one bar role or restaurant type that has brought me the most joy. It's just I think it's the people out of anything that keeps me in it and keeps me just so passionate about what we do.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with that sentiment. As the people is kind of what I enjoy about it as well. And that's why I started in culinary, and then I went front of house because I got tired of I love chefs and I love cooks, and I've seen the same people every day over and over again.
Yeah.
But then being front of house, you're able to interact with a lot more different types of people.
Exactly.
Right?
And there's just something so beautiful about the fact that you have a part in someone else's day, and that could be hopefully for the better. I mean, sometimes it's for the worst, but you know, this person that comes into your bar or restaurant could be having the worst day of their lives, and you have the opportunity to switch it around for them and turn that bad day into something really wonderful. And you know, I think that's the true beauty of hospitality. Yeah,
for sure. It's making sure you're taking care of that guest comes in, right? And here at Donna's, you guys did do a great job as well.
Thank you.
When I came in on Saturday and Donald just said hi as we walked in the door. I loved it. It was great. I love it. I think we're starting to see a little bit of more bars kind of move away from that mentality. I don't know if you've noticed, but
coming away from hospitality.
The warm welcome. They're not necessarily welcoming you into the bar, but she said, "Hey, what's up?"
Yeah.
As soon as someone walks in the door saying, "Hey, what's up?"
Yeah, I mean, I think that is definitely a core ethos for me as a person, and a core ethos that I wanted to bring into Donna's was we are in the business of hospitality. You know, hospitality is first, pouring liquids into cups comes second. And when we built Donna's, I wanted everyone to feel like they were walking into someone's home. And that also means the warmth of being loved and being welcomed. So it's really kind that, you feel the same way when you come into this building.
Yeah.
And we do hear it a lot. And it just makes me really, really proud that we can be on a pillar of hospitality and make people feel safe and welcome in our little 4-wall bar here.
Yeah, for sure. And just to walk back, what I'm saying is like, there's a lot of different bars here in Houston, and I've been to bars where you don't necessarily get that greeting, and it kind of sets a tone as soon as you walk in. So I guess that's kind of my point I was getting at there.
Right.
I don't think hospitality is definitely critical to what we do.
Mm-hmm.
There's that in the hospitality industry. I think a lot of the newer generation of bartenders don't have that mentorship or training like we do.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's something that we also, I think, need to step back in and fill that.
Yeah.
Mentorship. So
yeah, I do think kind of like the newer generation of bartenders are also a little bit shyer, I think that from the first month that we opened with this team, which we still have our entire opening team here,
great.
which I think is awesome as we're about 6 months in.
Yeah.
Watching them kind of break out of their shell and get more comfortable with those welcomes has been a really cool thing to see. But it's definitely something that I have seen in a lot of bars, not just Houston, but everywhere, where like kind of the new generation of bartenders is a little bit shyer, a little bit more reserved. So I'm just trying to break the silly out of these guys.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. It's all about making sure that environment's warm and welcoming, which you do a great job here in Donna's too. Again, so. So kind of walking back a little bit. So we know you started in Florida. You went to Boston at a certain point too, right?
Yes.
And that's
so born and raised in Boston, moved to Florida, right?
Okay.
So lived in Florida from like age 10 to 18.
Okay.
Basically graduated high school and I said, bye, Florida. And I went back up to Boston.
Okay.
And that is where I think I truly started to fall in love with our industry. In Florida, it was that little pizza shop I mentioned.
Yeah.
It was Chili's Bar and Grill. Shout
Chili's.
out to Chili's.
Yeah.
Forever a chili head. But when I moved to Boston, I started working in more like independent restaurants and bars. And I mean, there I worked in Irish pubs. I worked in a sports bar that was connected to Fenway Park.
Okay.
Eventually, I moved to the island of Nantucket.
Okay.
And worked at a like really beautiful restaurant, like right on the wharf there, that sold incredible wines. I learned about wine there.
Yeah.
And then when I moved back from Nantucket, is when I finally started getting into like quote unquote craft cocktails.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was your first? Like, where did you cut your teeth on craft cocktails?
So cutting my teeth for craft cocktails, that would be a spot called Lion's Tail.
Okay.
It is no longer open.
Okay.
But it was in the south end of Boston, kind of a speakeasy style bar tucked inside a luxury apartment complex. We had, I think, 32 cocktails on our menu, which like is insane looking back on that.
Yeah.
But like a whole mix between like classics, originals. We had tiki cocktails. It's Boston, so we always had like a hot beverage.
Okay.
But yeah, that was a really, really cool place. I learned literally everything from there. Yeah.
It's awesome. What was your first cocktail that you ever made? Do you remember?
That I ever made like originally? It was called Orange You Glad I Didn't Say Banana.
I love it. Okay. Yeah.
And it was this like tropical inspired old fashioned that had Ambaranya cachaça in it.
Okay.
Banana liqueur, orange liqueur, a couple other things.
Okay. So like an old fashioned version. Okay.
Yeah, like but I was really, really proud of it.
Okay.
Looking back, the name is so stupid.
It's like it's a funny name. I would be like, this sounds like a quirky cocktail.
Yeah, and that was kind of like the whole thing at Lion's Tail.
Okay.
It's like it was just a quirky place. Like all of the names were kind of silly. I remember one of our drinks was called Paul Rudd's Name and Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Okay.
Like that was the name, and you just got brownie points if you knew his actual name.
Okay. Heard that. Okay. And what was that cocktail? I'm curious. Do you remember what that
Oh,
cocktail
I
was?
definitely don't remember
Okay,
what it
like,
was. Yeah,
I'm
it was
curious.
served
Okay.
in like a tiki mug. It had pineapple fronds. It was like very over the top,
Okay.
but I can't remember exactly what was in it.
Okay, awesome. So is the bar a little bit more escapism? It feels like it was
Yeah,
a little more
kind
tropical
of.
escapism vibe.
It definitely wasn't like a tropical
Okay.
bar. It was like it was very dark, very sexy,
Okay.
very moody.
Mhm.
But it was just like we had kind of a section for everyone.
Yeah.
You know.
Awesome. Cool. So Boston, Houston, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
You were kind of in Boston, like the end of the cocktail revival. What trends were you seeing, or what trends have you seen in your career from there to here, Florida? What was kind of
Yeah.
sticking out at that point?
I mean, for Florida, like I don't think I understood cocktails when I lived there, so like I'll kind of just like leave
Okay.
them out of it.
Yeah.
Though I do know now like Jacksonville has like a really cool cocktail
Yeah.
scene. I haven't been back in years to experience it,
Yeah.
but just like certain friends on social
Yeah.
media and seeing what they're doing. But Boston is very classic cocktail driven. It is also like very different proportions than what we see here in Houston.
Okay.
I think Boston has a much like boozier
Mm-hmm.
kind of side of things. And Houston is a little bit lighter,
Yeah.
a little bit fresher. And I think it makes sense, just like regional and like weather dependent,
Yeah.
right? Boston, 9 months out of the year is cold and rainy and it kind of sucks. So you want something like stiff and boozy to make you forget about how
Yeah.
shitty the weather is.
Yeah.
Whereas like Houston, it's hot all the time. So like I don't know that I want 3 ounces of booze
Yeah.
all of the time.
Yeah.
But I do want something kind of like light and fun and refreshing and like helps me cool down.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure. Have you seen, so through like my career judging and doing stuff with World Class is like, and even with like Speed Rec, I know you've done a lot of stuff with them as well. Like, have you seen the variation? One thing we talk about is the variation of the East Coast versus the Southern palate.
Yeah.
Yes. Is there definitely
the palate is definitely different. So again, like I think things are a little sweeter here.
Mhm.
And up north, it's so dry.
Yep.
One of the things that I have found interesting in the past like month or two is Tyler, my husband, he's actually been helping out at Donna's a little bit. And, we've been R&D and cocktails together for our new menu that we just launched last month. And for him, he is, putting together like a recipe and he hasn't bartended in Houston yet. So he's still using all of his knowledge back from Boston. And, he'll put something in front of us and we'll taste it. And I'm like, this is a great Boston cocktail. This would not do well in Houston. And so kind of having to retrain your brain for a very different demographic of palates, I think is really cool.
Yeah.
But it can be challenging for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's definitely one of the biggest challenges I've had also overcome too, especially if you're doing like a competition like World Class, is like a lot of judges come from New York, Boston, Chicago, and there's not many from the South.
Yeah.
So you have to take that in consideration when you're balancing a cocktail. Right?
Do you think, I mean, I feel like I'm about to interview you for a second, but sorry. But like, do you think competitors get that?
I don't. So I think it's something that we need to talk more about.
Yeah.
And I think it needs to be fundamental as part of talking about like cocktail competitions when it's a nationwide competition. I definitely think it needs to be a topic.
Yeah.
That's brought up because I know I have a sweet palate. Like
Fair.
I've learned over the year I have a sweet palate. And then when I go to like when I've been to France or when I've gone to New York, like the cocktails there are very dry and boozy.
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
Like the spirit is very prevalent, but last time I went, you can start seeing that they're starting to like adapt. Not, I guess adapt would be the word I'm talking about, but they're starting to see more of that balance where they're actually throwing a little bit more sweeter cocktails on the menu because palates are changing.
Yeah,
But,
for sure. And I mean, especially with most of those cities being so tourist driven too, like you would think that you start to kind of tweak at least a couple of things. You know, you want to stay true to who you are, who your community is. But, if you're a pretty touristy city, I would say like Houston is, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with putting a drier cocktail on the menu. You just never know who's going to walk through those doors.
For sure. And that's why the cocktail program here, your new menu is great. Like I came and tried it this weekend. And I do appreciate the fact that it's not too overly sweet. And they're a little bit more on the drier side because I think that balances out the overall mark. So,
and I think that will always be a part of my cocktail creation is like, you can take the girl out of Boston, but I don't think you can take the Boston out of the girl.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think that also like makes us a little bit different from some of the other bars in Houston. Not for better or for worse, but just a little bit different.
Yeah.
But also thank you for saying that the new menu is great. I think one of the biggest challenges for me is actually the cocktail like menu creation.
Yeah.
So I've made cocktails on menus for many bars that I've worked at, and I have coached teams into building cocktail menu together cohesively.
Yeah.
But Donna's is actually the first time I've ever done an entire menu solo.
Okay.
And that was, I think, like one of the hardest things I've ever done.
Okay.
Yeah. But like, man, once it was like fully done, printed, set, ready to go, what a wonderful feeling. What a wonderful feeling. Yeah, I felt really, really proud.
Yeah.
So.
For sure. Was there any, since we're talking about cocktail menus, and it's the first one you did, was there any kind of growing pains that you had to like naturally when you roll out a menu, it's like, okay, it's months and months and months of planning. And then you got to go in, you got to strip the entire well out, reset your wells, retrain the bartenders, launch it.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to someone that was trying to design a menu and like prep for that in a more volume concept?
Yeah. So, I mean, so we are pretty high volume here for, as small as our space is. Like we do a lot of cocktails here. But so when we flipped the menu about a month ago, it was a really tight turnaround. So this was mostly on me being like a master of procrastination. But what should have been, the last like 4 months of planning and writing and thinking about cocktails, I didn't because I just had tunnel vision, like we opened a new bar. I wanted to make sure that everything on like the day-to-day was going well and didn't do a lot of planning ahead. So we basically flipped our menu in a 3-week period. So that means like concept, R&D, production, menu printing, batching, etc. All in a 3-week period, which I don't recommend that. Please plan ahead. So I would say that's my first piece of advice is make sure that like you carve out time in your schedule every week to R&D something new. Whether it's just like a flavor combination or it's a syrup or it's your garnish technique, it's looking at new glassware. I think that is one of the most beneficial hard lessons that I had learned over that menu flip. And also like, just remember that, we're in food and beverage, like take it seriously, but don't take it so seriously that you stressed yourself out, and like start losing your hair. Not that I did, but I felt the stress for sure. And it's not always going to go according to plan. You need to be a little like Gumby. You need to be a little like flexible and be able to pivot and roll with the punches.
Yeah, for sure. And at the end of the day, like you said, it's liquid in the glass comes second.
Yes.
And the hospitality comes first. So,
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. Like menus are fun. I like doing menus. You guys did a great job. Like I said, like sometimes we as bartenders procrastinate. I'm also guilty of that as well. But some of our best work is done last minute, I guess. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think about our creative brains work that way where it's like, okay, well, pressure's here, and like even Luis is over here shaking his head. It's like on the media side too, it's very getting the videos done very quickly.
Yeah.
Or last minute is like that's when you like log in and get it done.
Yeah, but I think you really like hit it on the head with that is sometimes people who are more creative, they need the pressure to put their butt into gear and like actually do something. And unfortunately, I am one of the people.
No, I gotcha. For sure. And then so kind of your first menu, like how do you balance that out? Like what did you do for this menu to balance it out? You have lots of fresh stuff, maybe a couple boozy items. Like is there like an equal spread between those or do you like lean heavily into one category on this menu?
I think naturally I enjoy creating more like fruity, refreshing cocktails. Which is odd because if I go out, I definitely order like the boozy, drier cocktails. But for the menu, it's a pretty small menu. We have 7 original cocktails that we call ours. And then we have 4 kind of like classics that we slightly tweak, which we call olds. And then we have 3 zero proof cocktails, which are called zeros.
Yeah.
But I think for the old section, that's always the last section that I do.
Okay.
Because that's kind of we're missing this type of stirred cocktail, or we're missing this type of, other style of cocktail. And so that's a little bit easier to kind of like plug and play.
Yeah.
Now for the hour section, depending on like the season, right? We opened in November, and Houston doesn't really have a winter, especially this winter. It was so mild.
Yeah.
We don't want to have, of our 7 cocktails, it be even 4 stirred cocktails, because I just know that they're not going to get ordered as much. So it is leaning on the more kind of like sour or highball, refreshing-esque style.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. Like Houston, like you said, it's a hot, whatever, one season year round, maybe a minor freeze once a year, and that's it.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and then your favorite cocktail is more of a martini, right? Because I know we have the Jacki's Martini on the menu. You want to talk a little bit about the Jacki's Martini?
Yeah, so we do have the Jacki's Martini on the menu, which is a 50-50 style martini, which if anyone is listening and doesn't know, it is equal parts gin and equal parts vermouth. But here we use Plymouth, which is my absolute favorite gin. And I feel like it doesn't get enough recognition.
Yeah.
It's earthy, it still has that juniper, but there's something just very special about the flavor profile that I haven't been able to find in any other gin. So we use Plymouth gin, and then for the vermouth, we actually split base the vermouth as well.
Okay.
So we are using Dolan Dry, and then we're using Pokey Americano.
Okay.
A little bit of like bright citrusy pop from that Americano, and obviously more of like the herbaceous kind of like piney notes from the Dolan Dry.
Yeah.
And then just a couple dashes of orange bitters. Okay. But I think the best part of the Jacki's Martini is the garnish. I love snacks.
Yeah.
And so, here at Donna's with the team, we call the garnish girl dinner.
Yeah.
But it is a little cube of Parmesan, Parmesan cheese, and then an olive. And I just think it's adorable. And who doesn't love a snack?
I know, that's right. This is one of my cocktails I normally order on rotation here. So.
Yeah, exactly. You've been running around all day. Yeah. You just need little martini to take the edge off, and you get cheese with it.
Yeah.
Sign me up, brother.
Yeah, for sure. So kind of changing gears here. So partnerships. So you are partnered with Bobby Hugel.
I am.
How is it working with Bobby and other partners within the group?
It's really incredible. I cannot say enough nice things. Like, I really can't. I will say, so, Bobby reached out to me last May.
Okay.
And I was with another bar, helping run their program.
Yeah.
And, he reached out and was like, hey, I know that you're probably really happy in doing what you're doing. But I do have an opportunity if you would like to learn more.
Yeah.
And truthfully, I almost just like wrote it off, because I was like, oh, like I bet someone's moving around at one of the other bars and maybe he's looking for another manager. Yeah. I don't know if that's something that I want to like transition for. Yeah. And when I learned that it was for a bar partnership, that changed a lot of things.
Yeah.
I think my dream, I know, the dream has always been to open a bar.
Yeah.
Granted, I thought it was going to be like 5 years from now. I didn't think it would be
like in the moment
in a text message, with my former boss.
Yeah.
But that was an absolute like life-changing day.
Yeah.
But Bobby is very incredible to work with and for. He is really, really supportive and has been one of the best mentors I have ever had. He can give the tough love when I need it. But it's always coming out of love, which I'm very grateful for. Yeah. I feel like I have grown a lot in the last year. Yeah. And the other partners in the other bars are honestly just as helpful. Yeah. We have a little group chat, we talk about who needs to hire this person, or my ice machine is broken. Who can help me? So like being a part of a group like that and having the support of other people who are also doing what you do every day and understand kind of the good, the bad, and the ugly is really, really helpful. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I don't feel alone in what I'm doing. And I think that's really important.
It is very important.
Yeah.
Especially in our industry where it can be, you're on your own island sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's awesome. So you worked at Anvil for a little bit, right?
I did.
I mean, that's when I first officially met you. It was in Anvil.
Yeah. So when I first moved to Houston in 2019, I started working at Better Luck Tomorrow.
Okay.
And had a really great time there. Really loved it. But I ended up leaving because I thought I wanted to go into a brand role. My husband Tyler was working for a brand at the time and he was traveling a lot. And, I kind of missed him and wanted a little bit better of a work-life balance. The brand thing didn't work out that time around. And I ended up going to the Four Seasons for a bit.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened and that was crazy.
Yep.
But there was one night that I had run into Bobby and he was kind of like asking me how things were going. And I was like, COVID in a hotel, like, not going to talk poorly about other things. But like, and I was like, no, I think I'm ready for a change, basically.
Yeah, for sure.
And he was like, well, you can come work at Anvil. And I was like, ooh, that feels daunting. Am I good enough bartender to do that? And I was like, yeah, I can do it. I can definitely do it. And it was by far the hardest bar job I've ever had. But it like really transformed me as a bartender. Like that training program is no joke. And it takes a great bartender into a phenomenal one. And very, very thankful for my time there.
Yeah, for sure. And Anvil definitely has more of the intense training programs I've seen. But
it works.
It works.
Yeah. Like there's a reason it works, you know?
Yeah. Like the blind tastings, the speed rounds you guys have to do. What else is like the 100-day eventually after your 6 months or after you
after
pass.
So I actually never finished the training program, but
I gotcha.
But yeah, you go through kind of like a series of learning about different spirit categories, beer and wine. You do cocktail development. You do the speed tests, which is always like the most nerve-wracking thing ever. But when you complete it, it's like, and then, you do I think the blind 50, and then your 100-day is like basically like graduation day where you do all of the 100 lists, which is 100 classic cocktails, and sell them for $1 for the community, which is such a good deal.
Yes, it is such a good deal. So I've been to a few of them, and it's always the line starts pretty early.
Yeah.
And if you're not there early, sometimes it's been done like 2 hours, I think, is what Tommy has the record.
I actually think Drew might have beat
Drew
his
him?
record.
Oh, Kurt.
Yeah,
Okay,
which is crazy.
That's wild. Okay. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that. I'm going to have to talk to Drew next time I see him.
Yeah.
For sure. Awesome. So we talked a little bit, good little segue here. So you talked about brand work.
So I did,
you have dabbled into brand work, correct?
I have dabbled. Yeah. So for a little bit, actually, this is kind of, I think, the crazy part is while I was at Anvil, I was also the brand ambassador for Angel's Envy here in Houston.
That is right. I forgot.
So I did those at the same time. I don't know what was wrong with me at that point in my life.
Oh, yeah, no, I got you.
But I will say, like, the things that I was doing with Angel's Envy, I started to realize that, like, there are certain aspects of the industry that I really, really enjoy. And that was education and event planning. And so I think I started to find a lot more joy and, the feeling of reward in some of those brand activations that I was doing, and ultimately made the full-time switch. So I left Anvil, which is, why I never completed my training. But I left Anvil and I started working for a company called Deutsch Family Wine and Spirits. And I was their central brand ambassador for their spirits. So I did Redemption whiskey, Gray Whale gin, and Bibb and Tucker, which is a Tennessee whiskey. And I was with them for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years.
Yeah, I remember us crossing paths at the brand events we were working at with NTS.
Yeah, exactly. But I will say, like, I learned a lot about myself. And I think a lot of the things that I learned when I was working for the brands actually set me up for success when it came to um, running and organizing bar.
Okay.
Communication is like a big thing
Mhm.
that you have to have in the brand world, especially when you're working for a corporate type of company and having to talk to a bunch of people above you and, you know, corporate jargon and such.
Yeah. All the corporate jargon.
Got really good at Excel.
Okay. Yeah. Excels are important.
Excel is really
Yeah, very
important.
sure.
And then, of course, I just kind of continued with, events and education and the things that like I just really enjoyed about it.
Yeah.
But building relationships, I think was like a key takeaway.
Mm.
So when I left the brand world and kind of came back to our side of the bar, I had been in a rep's shoes.
Mm-hmm.
I had been in like the sales position. I had been in the ambassador position.
Yeah.
So I understood what they needed from me and what I needed from them.
Yeah.
And kind of used that to my advantage when it came to these meetings of like, you want to come to me and do this event, yada, yada, yada. Great. But what I think made a difference with me is, I'm not just here to take from you.
Right.
I would always kind of end the conversation of like, what are your KPIs?
Yeah.
What do you need to succeed in your role? And how can I do that to help you?
Yep.
Because like we need each other. Like, let's be honest. I know a lot of bartenders and managers will roll their eyes when they see someone walk in with their little rolly bag.
Yeah.
But like, we do need each other.
Yeah.
No.
I think
That's the big takeaway there,
Yeah, for sure. I think that is a good point too, because with NTS, I've also seen the other side of it too, because we work with a lot of brands too, and then I've running night shift, and then eventually something here in the future. But I think a lot of people forget that we still need each other.
Exactly.
Like, yes, they are salespeople. Yes, they are still humans. They got bills to pay too.
Yeah.
Like, they're not lower than us. It's just like, again, we're hospitality.
Yes.
So it's being hospitable to those sales reps too.
Exactly. Exactly. And you don't have to say yes to everything, right? Like you can still hold on to whatever your kind of like ethics are, your ethos are for your bar and kind of like the brands or spirits that you want to carry. But just do it with respect, I think that's really important.
Yeah, for sure. And I think a lot of people also forget, like, they have KPIs, right? So for the people who don't know KPIs, key performance indicators, right?
Yes, correct.
So
Jargon.
Yes, the jargon. Yeah, the corporate jargon. So basically what that means is it's on a task list for them to present you. So like there was one time where one of my reps, I love the guy. He's not within, he left industry and is doing something else now. But when I first moved here in the Woodlands, he had to show me the Captain Morgan coconut. You remember the little
flavor blast?
Yeah, the flavor blast. And
I remember that.
He's like, he knew me enough. He's like, I know you're not going to bring this in, but I still have to bring it and present it to you. I'm like, hell yeah, let's taste it. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that was a scratch and sniff bottle too.
Was it really?
I think so.
They're still on the shelf. I'm going to have to go look at it again.
Oh, that's funny.
But like stuff like that, right? It's just like they have to show you. It's like it's not, they're not trying to sell you something. It's just like they have to
do it, right?
Yeah.
And also like have a little fun.
Yeah.
You know? Okay. It's a coconut liqueur.
Yeah.
It's not going to be that bad.
Yeah. For sure. That's I love tasting with people. It's just like, okay, what do you bring? I'm like, okay, well, this isn't the normally I'm telling them like this is probably not going to be a fit here, but we can talk about it and then go from there.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, it works both ways, right? You can get something out of them. They're obviously going to get something out of you. But just kind of thinking about those relationships as more of like a partnership, I think is really, really helpful for the growth of you and your bar and kind of the way that people think about and use your space as well.
Yeah. Sure. And that's kind of where I was setting up is like this is a very relationship driven industry.
Yeah.
Again, hospitality and relationships are going to drive our industry. And it's all about developing that relationship with the brands as well. Like if you're going to be mean to the sales rep coming in, okay, well, you might have just ruined that relationship with potential other brands or supplier that they bring in at some point. So
no, I think that's actually a really good point. Yeah, because if you're rude to that person, they're not going to bring in their global brand ambassador to do an education with your team or do a happy hour that brings in extra income for your team, right? I mean, though the building of relationships with those people like doesn't just benefit your space, but it benefits your employees. And at the end of the day, that's what we're here as operators take care of is the people who work here and make sure that their income is stable and that they're happy in the place of work.
Yeah, for sure. So key point. Relationships are important.
Yeah,
Yes,
don't
for
forget
sure.
it.
Don't forget. Cool. So we talked a little bit about this earlier, but we talked about competitions, we talked about world class. I know you were very heavily in speed rack.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So
It is my favorite competition.
Yeah.
I think it's really the only competition I've ever really done. I've done like a couple of like really small ones. But that is the one that I will like eat, breathe, and die by. So Speed Rack is a all-femme speed bartending competition that benefits breast cancer research. I think we just did our 14th
Yeah, I think they're in
season.
14th. Yeah, there's somewhere in that
I'm
range.
I'm losing count. There's been so many. But I first got involved when I was still in Boston. I attended just as like a spectator in I don't even 2018, 2016.
Yeah.
But my Jägermeister brand ambassador actually invited me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have no idea what this is. I know nothing about it. I hadn't been into craft cocktails yet, really. And so like we go and I just am in this room filled with hundreds of people in our industry. And on stage are what look like warriors bartending. And the amount of inspiration that filled my entire being is like indescribable.
Yeah.
And I said like that night, I was like, I want to do that. I don't know really anything of what they're doing, but I know that I want to do that one day. And the next year I applied. I got accepted. I made the top 8 and actually like I think got into like the second round of it as well. But yeah, like the room is intoxicating for Speed Rack, you know, so it is classic cocktails, right? So you are making 4 drinks at a time as fast as you can, but also you need to make sure that they taste good, that they're diluted, that they look pretty, you know? So there is a lot that goes into it, but truly at the end of the day, it's like, that's you in service well on a Friday night. Right? And again, I think it teaches you a lot about like efficiency as a bartender. I think it really helps with your technique as well. And you know, you're building all of these recipes over and over again, like perfecting them. So really getting to tailor in your palate and, you know, kind of going back to what we were talking about, thinking about what the judge's palate is too.
Yeah, for sure. Speed Rack's one of my favorite competitions. Like every time I walk into one of those rooms, anytime we do like the fast tracks or even the like we've done the national coverage for the video side of it. It's just like there's so much energy in the room right now and everybody's supporting everybody.
Exactly.
That's great.
Yeah.
Definitely would recommend anybody who wants to, like any badass ladies that want to do it, to enter.
Yeah.
Or
absolutely.
just reach out to you or anybody of the past winners.
Yeah, no, please do. If
Mm-hmm.
you are interested in Speed Rack, please reach out to me on Instagram or however you can get in touch with me. Come to the bar. I will happily kind of like talk to you about it. I've coached a lot of competitors. We've held a lot of info sessions over the years. But yeah, I just want to help. You know, I love it so much. I just want to help.
Just helping each other out. Again, key part of our industry too is like it's a mentor. I talk about this pretty often too. Mentor-mentee relationship.
Yeah.
We are a trade. There is always a mentor-mentee. I think a lot of people forget about that.
Yeah.
Especially like saying nowadays we've had like this change in the guards that's been happening, but I feel like we need to remember to go back to that.
Yeah, I like fully stand by like no gatekeeping ever. Like I am an open book. I will always answer the question to the best of my ability, of course. But
for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I know we're getting ready to wrap up here because we're almost at that time point. So do you have a quote or one piece of advice you would like to share for this?
So I know that you told me that I had plenty of time to think about this, and I definitely didn't think about it. You know, I think like my biggest thing that I would like to share is just to follow your dreams. Like do the hard work. If you are passionate about something, just go all in because like I promise you it is so worth it. It is so, so worth it.
Yeah.
I have been grinding since the age of 14. And the fact that I get to wake up every day and live out my dream is inspirational to me.
Yeah.
And I'm just so proud. And I think that that's really cool.
Yeah. You've done a great job.
Thank
I'm
you.
proud of all the work you've done. I think that's great.
Thank you.
A lot of people are scared to take the risk.
Yeah.
Also speaking from my business standpoint, it's just like, at this point, like, no one's pulling me back. I'm going to do what I need to do. Like,
Yeah.
if I'm going to take the risk and if it fails, okay, cool. I've been there already. I mean,
Sure.
I'm still here. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And like failure is really scary.
Yeah.
I also think that that's a driving force for me is I'm afraid to fail. And I think that that's okay.
Yep.
Like if you fail, it is okay. You can just pick up the pieces and start again.
Yep.
It is a part of life.
Yep. You're always going to have your
But
bones.
don't let it stop you.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't let it stop you.
Always have your bones.
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
Those are always be there. And your friends and your family will still always be there. So
yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Cool. Well, where can people follow you if they have any questions?
Yes. You can find me on Instagram at Houston Libations. And then I am quite literally always at Donna's in Houston, Texas. So come on down.
For sure. And what is Donna's handle? Is it Donna's at Houston?
It is at Donna's Houston. Yes.
Perfect. Awesome. And then are you just DMs or just reach out to you on social media? Like, how would you?
Yeah, I think that's like the best way to reach out to me without like giving out personal information.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you DM me, I will likely just be like, hey, here's my phone number, here's my email.
Awesome.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you, Jacki.
Thank you so much for having me. This was cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It'll be up pretty quick. So
nice.
I'll let you know.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for joining us again for another episode of Cocktail Classified, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Cheers, y'all.